Hello, and welcome to my universe. So let's see. I was taking a look at things here, and I do like the hair highlights here, but I really don't like them on the pigtails. I'm gonna debate with myself on whether or not I should move them, but at minimum, I don't want them there. So I'm gonna go ahead, and I am just going to destroy them. And if I decide that the pigtails need a little bit more shininess to them, I will put them back. But already, I think this looks 100 times better, so excellent. And if anything, maybe they could use a few more shadows. But, you know, I actually think that they're looking pretty alright there. Oh man, I suddenly started to get very itchy. Alright. But yeah, I really did not like the highlights on those. I like the highlights here, though. I think they're looking good. Facial expression, overall, okay. I think before I do any more tweaking on the eyes and the shadows under them, I kind of want to get her mouth in. So, you know, for once, I'm actually starting with the thing I named my stream title after. Ooh, very mysterious. It does happen occasionally. I mean, I do tend to name it based on what I expect to be doing next. It's just after sitting on it for a few days, or I guess now closer to a full week. Generally, I have some thoughts. Sometimes I look at it off stream in between, but a lot of the time, it's really not that unusual for me to just not look at it until it's time to stream again. So I get to see all kinds of new and exciting things when I look at it again. It's amazing how looking away from your art for a little bit can make it look completely different than you remember it. You know, a further proof that brains are just big ol' liars. Can't trust them. Not at all. Okay, so I want this to be pointier. It was a bit round before. I mean, it was fine because I hadn't actually smoothed this out or cleaned it up yet, but I'm just thinking hard about the kind of shape I want for this, and I think something like this is pretty nice. Keep it simple. And now for this thing. There's always a few ways I can handle teeth like this. Do I have off-stream Nitya reference? I sure do. Show me your faces. I want to take one look at them before I go ahead and attempt to draw this, because I think the mouth here is quite important. Just extremely. Needs to have the proper energy. A little bit mischievous, you know? Okay, I think I know exactly what to do. Okay, so I think the first thing, it's gonna feel a bit weird. I want it to be wide, a little bit wider, but a little bit shorter. And I'm seeing how I want this to be angled here. I like the little bit of a smirk I got going. I think that's pretty good. But I've been wanting to look at properly stylized mouths a little bit lately. I don't want to eliminate what I like to do with mine, because when I compare mine to most anime styles I see, mine tend to be quite big. And I'm okay with this, because with the very large mouth, I get to do bigger expressions, and I think that's a lot of fun. The downside is that a lot of the time I feel like my characters end up a little bit less cute. The tiny, tiny anime mouths can be absolutely adorable, and it's a tough choice. Okay, we're gonna bring this out just a little bit more. She's gonna be so freaking happy, man. So I've been trying to observe some of these things for stylization reasons specifically. There's a lot of people out there, when I was a baby artist, who always said that you should only look at photo reference and never stylistic ones. That was a very common sentiment. I don't entirely disagree, but I do kind of disagree. And I do think that stylized references have their place. Specifically, for when you're trying to think of, see how something is stylized in a style you enjoy. Go figure. Very helpful in that kind of situation, yeah. Because see, photo reference can tell you what something looks like. And then you can use your brain to interpret it however you like. And that's very useful. It means that you're not going to be biased by any kind of stylization. You just get exactly what it looks like, then your brain can interpret it, and you can draw what that interpretation is while being able to have that thing in front of you. It's really, really useful. But my art style of choice is very much in anime here. And anime is highly symbolic. And by that what I mean is that oftentimes rather than drawing exactly what something looks like, they will kind of draw the impression of it. Or you'll probably hear a lot of non-anime artist people complain about how symbolic the eyes are. And it's true, because if you look at the eyes here, it's like, you know, you draw an upper eyelash, you draw a lower eyelash, you draw a thing in there, and there you go, you got an anime eye. It's not really what eyes look like, but our brain can interpret it like that. It's just like when you see a 3-year-old draw a picture of a house. It's always something like this. So that's not really what houses look like. I can't even remember the last house I've seen that has an actual chimney. Most of the time they're much smaller than this. But nonetheless, most small children will draw a picture like this if you ask them to draw a house. Or, you know, maybe it'll have a cloud with the sun. And this is what we call symbols. They're just tiny little things where you can recognize them as the thing that you're trying to draw, but they don't really look like it. But we very much know what it means, and that's extremely common in anime. So I've been looking closer to some of the things that people tend to do. And I think it's been useful for getting certain aspects of stylization down. It's kind of like what I mentioned the other day on the Katya drawing, where if they are dishonest or have a secret, you hide the eyebrows. Whereas if they're more honest, you show the eyebrows. Almost 99% of the time I hide the eyebrows because I don't like to make my hair quite that transparent. It is taste. I can understand why people do it. But that is, you know, more of a symbolic representation of things. Alright, let's figure out how I want the teeth here to kind of go. I have something in mind here. There we go, something like this. And I think I want a little bit more shadow on the top. So that part will be thicker. And then I want the shark teeth line to be a little bit lower than that, I think. Let's just kind of get everything roughly into place. Okay, the angles of these need to be way better, and they also need to be bigger. I could fix the angles during cleanup, but the size, no, I gotta get that right now. Because otherwise, I will be making life hard for myself. This is another thing, you know, teeth don't really look like this, but we can easily recognize it as teeth. I think this is why anime tends to be harder on the general impressions of things instead of, you know, what they actually look like, and I think that is fun. It lets you do some very extreme expressions, and I think that's a lot of fun. I think for a while, people kind of insisted that symbols had to be worked out of art. And I just don't agree. I mean, iconography is all about the symbols. But I think even stuff like this, I think symbols can be very useful. Just shorthands for understanding things. It lets you minimize details. And of course, I tend to be kind of into that. So I think minimalism is pretty great. Okay, let's take a look at how we're doing so far. Okay. Right now, the mouth looks like it's sitting on her face as though she was turning this way. So right now I'm kind of seeing her face is doing something like this, except the eyes are in the normal position and then the mouth is over here and it's very awkward. So I definitely got to do something about that. But, you know, other than that, I think that the changes here have helped the expression and I'm quite happy. So let's just make this a little bit less lopsided. I had a particular thing I was trying to do with the stretched side, but it's not working, so I'm gonna get rid of it. And we're just gonna prod with liquify for just a sec here. Until I am happy with the shape I got. A little bit flatter there, make her chin just a little bit bigger. This is a cute anime girl, and big chins are just the way to go there. Although hers is actually smaller than most. That's wild. No, I hadn't noticed. Okay. Still feeling a little bit too lopsided here. You know, let's flip the canvas since I'm doing some balancing here. It does make things a little bit easier to balance. Okay, and I kind of want the teeth to vanish into the corners. Make the corners a little bit darker looking. Okay. Now back to balancing this out. It's hard because it's going to be asymmetrical, right? This side is going to be coming out further than this side. And that does make things just a little bit trickier. But I like how smarmy it makes her look. When I get to Nanya, I'll definitely, or excuse me, Anya, I'll have to be extra careful to make her look extra bratty. And I think this has some of that energy. So I'm taking notes. Okay. I think I'm gonna make that mouth just a little bit bigger and a little bit higher up. It's already quite large, but you know, it can be bigger. It's fine. I can't really send it too much higher though, because otherwise we're gonna start stabbing her in the eye with the own corner of her mouth. And that might be awkward, you know? I think I want it to be a little bit bigger though, so let's just push the corners down slightly. that this way, I can make it just a touch bigger. On the bright side, I still think the hair looks pretty good. It's a little bit messier than some of the other ones. But I think it really suits her because her hair is quite messy. I was just kind of noticing that right now. Like, yeah, let's definitely focus on the proportions a bit, but I don't know, my brain tends to wander a little bit. It's all good. Just taking it all in. Yeah, I like the little bit of smirkiness in there. I think that's great. Still gotta get it sitting on her face though, and maybe it's the fact that I went down first there. Let's try that again then. We'll go up first this time. Give her nice big teeth. Nice big healthy teeth. I'm sure she brushes her teeth every day. She certainly seems wholesome enough to do so. Besides, the teeth are important when you are a crocodile. Extremely. Ah, man. Okay, maybe I should be doing this on a different layer because every time it's just like, I don't know, man. Just not working. But I want to get the location of the pointy parts of the teeth in before I start rendering this because they will dictate a lot of things, and I don't really want to render it until I am happy. So I gotta just keep poking at it, but at the very least I can move each individual tooth now without having to worry about messing up the mouth itself. So that's nice. That'll make things a little easier. Get him into just the right spot here. Try to get this just a little bit more forward facing, and just remember this is supposed to be pulled up. The mouth is not slanted. I have to remind my brain of that because I think it keeps wanting to make it slanted, and that's why it never looks right. Brains, man, they're the worst sometimes. I know it's doing its best, but man, sometimes you gotta try less hard, brain. It's okay. It's okay. Okay. Now let's get each side kind of going the same way. Again, I want it to be a little bit flat at the bottom. She is gonna have like no cheeks, but you know, I think it's okay. It's all good. All right, let me see if that's centered here. We're gonna make the time-lapse watchers dizzy again. But this seems fine to me. So I think I got it. I'm gonna leave the teeth unmerged for now. I'm gonna smooth out every other part of the mouth, and then I will revisit where the pointy parts of the teeth are, and we'll see if I like it in a few minutes. I always find that to be a good policy. It's like if I'm not sure, then look away for a bit, take a look at something else. See how it all shakes out. And then come look at it again. All right. I've been thinking about each of these drawings as I go through, and I feel like BB's and Nitya's, maybe I got a little bit too ambitious with some of them. I still think Malice looks the best out of the 3 that I've done so far. Sometimes it can be a little sad when the first one is the best. But to be fair, I think hers is pretty good. I matched the energy perfectly. And I'm just not quite sure if I did that with the other, with Bibi and Nitya yet. So I'll be keeping that in mind as I go and do the last 3. I think my ideas there are a little bit less ambitious. Although I guess the idea that I have for Willy is still involves a bit of foreshortening, so we'll see. It's only a little bit though. It's not like this. I'm not doing anything super extreme there. It's just a sword. But yeah, all of the remaining 3, I do have ideas for all of them. I am kind of glad that I waited for Anya's debut because I saw it. I watched the debut, and I immediately knew what to draw. I was like, yeah, that's perfect. And I would not have done that if I had insisted on attempting to draw it before debut. So, very glad that, well, for what I had time. But, that I didn't try to force the idea until I actually saw her. All right. Been feeling a bit better today. I was a bit tired still, but I mean, part of that is I stayed up too late playing video games, so you know that happens. Look, my husband and I can very much get into it, but I am feeling a bit less sick. It did feel like a very minor bug, just enough to be annoying. I hate that. I always prefer it on the 2 extremes, where either I'm, you know, perfectly fine, all is well, or I am just, like, dying, because it's like, at least then I know I'm sick, and I know I should avoid people, and all that kind of thing, whereas before, or if it's just kind of mild, I'm just like, okay, am I being a hypochondriac again? Because that does happen sometimes. But, and I'm just never entirely sure. But no, I am definitely starting to feel better. I should be at 100% next week, so hopefully I can start doing some things. Get that freaking voiceover for the BB Biscuit video out finally. Ah! I swear to God, I will release that video next week if it's the last thing I do. Okay, well, you know, I'm gonna be forgiving for next week because I have a bunch of Valentine's Day art I want to do. But the week after, okay? I don't know what it is. I keep trying to do the voiceover, and I'm just like, my God, I hate it. I don't even hate the sound of my own voice that much anymore. I don't mean that in a derogatory way toward me. I think my voice is fine. Just that it's a very common phenomenon. Basically, uncanny valley for the speaker. And that's why pretty much everyone hates the sound of their own voice at first. But you get over it. I also have a few other things I want to put together. You know, I miss streaming every day. I do. But it's actually been really nice because I feel like I can finally do some other things for the stream. Because when I was streaming every day, I kept wanting to do all these things, and I try to find time to do them outside of it. Sometimes I would even succeed, and this is why, you know, some weeks I still think I might stream more than just the weekends, basically, but oh man, I never really felt like I could do anything. I would try to follow some of the various creative impulses I have, and I'd say, okay, we'll do it after I finish this drawing. This way I can upload a short this week. And then, due to my general nature, the drawing would take me most of the week, and I'd be like, well, shoot. Or, it's like, okay, I want to try to do this thing. Let's try to read up on things, and my brain was just so tired because it was just going at 1,000,000 miles an hour all the time that I could not do it. So it's been nice. I actually feel like I can do things again. I actually have time to try to make certain things happen, so I'm a little bit sad to give it up. I really am. You know, more than a little bit even. The live part is definitely the most fun for me. But nonetheless, I do think that with this extra space, I'll be able to actually think about things, and I'll just be able to go. I've been watching myself. I think I have a tendency to get into a pattern of, okay, I need this, and I have to do this, I have to do that, and not really leave any room to do anything besides what I quote-unquote kind of have to do. And I don't think it's good. I am excellent at grinding through things and continuing on even when it's hard. But man, sometimes I can just get stuck. Just get stuck somewhere, and I have a hard time pulling myself back out because I have just convinced myself, okay, we gotta do this, this, and this, and I'll start doing these other things later. It's like, nah, there's a time and a place for that, but it wasn't here. So yes, I really miss the daily experience, but I've been able to get some thoughts in. And being able to listen to my thoughts is actually really nice. I'll talk about things a bit later. Some of it I still want to keep a surprise. Alright. So this is why I wanted to keep those pointy parts in. It's making the handling of this part of her teeth much more straightforward. So now I can just get the basic shape of the teeth in, and then I can subdivide it very easily, since I kept it all separated. Then I can merge it all down when it's done, so I don't have 1,000,000 teeth layers to deal with. Okay. And here, I'm trying to kind of match up the edges here. I'm keeping this one a little bit darker because I want it to look a little bit more smarmy, but I'm keeping this, trying to keep that a relatively consistent width all the way across. So I'm kind of feeling out that edge there. I'm pretty bad at judging distances, so I really have to pay attention. One of those things I've learned. So this is where self-awareness is really useful. Because once you start noticing some of the things you just kind of do without thinking about it. You know what? I just realized. There are curves on this mouth! Speaking of things you do without realizing. Man. Okay. Gotta fix that. It's true. Once you notice things that you do without realizing, you can do something about it. So now that I have realized, wait, I am curving the teeth! Stop it! I can go back and make them not curved anymore. No, no curves allowed. Straights only. I have established this many, many times. Okay. Well, let's go fix that. Let's make all these lines nice and straight and work out all the little curves. Incidentally, I kind of want to revisit her eyes, but I wanted to get the mouth here done before that, just so this way I could have the mouth and the eyes working together a little better. As for what was bothering me about the eyes, you know, I'm not quite sure. I don't always say when I see a problem. I typically only do it when I intend to jump right into fixing it. Especially around now where I kind of have mixed feelings about a lot of pretty much everything I draw at all times. So I think I'd become an extreme downer if I kept commenting on things where I'm just like, man, I don't like this, this, and this, and I don't know why, and life is hard. It's true. Life is very hard, and it's always rough when you're not quite sure how to fix your art. It's okay, I have ideas. I've got a couple of things that I'm very much interested in trying. Okay, but first, straight lines here. Gotta do all the straight lines. Okay. And you know, I think it'll make handling the teeth a little bit easier too, since I want to keep it mostly parallel to the edge there. And now if there's going to be no curves here, then, you know, that'll be great, because I will have less to think about while I structure the teeth. Wonderful. Please be pointier, though. I need every edge here to be sharp enough to cut me. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna break out the line tool because I am struggling to get that line going across the mouth here straight. So, I am going to cheat and use the cheating to solve all my problems. Yeah, you can see I kept it very, very curved. I'm thinking about how I want to handle this. There we go. That's a nice little line there. Okay, yeah, I'm just gonna use the line tool. I do like to keep practicing making lines straight. It's actually really interesting to come back with the line tool afterward and see how far off I was. In this case, extremely, but you know, it is what it is. And it tells me that I still got a long way to go to kind of start getting all this right. I mean, look how far things off we're down here, although I didn't try to draw that line. So, I don't have to feel too bad about that one. I think that can actually be a really nice thing about problems that have a more clear correct versus not correct. So in this case, you know, the straight line versus the curved line. And I can go ahead and look and be like, ah, yes, you know, that was not nearly straight enough. So you still got to work on your ability to draw the straight lines. And now I know for sure. It's much more objective than a lot of art, which is extremely subjective. I'm not surprised that the skill grinders, as I call them, the people that just want to be good at something, all prefer realism because there's a lot of potential more objective truth to that than, you know, you still look really wobbly. But yeah, there's a lot more just objective truth to that than what you'd get from drawing something more stylized. Because if you're just saying, okay, I'm going to make this look exactly like this rock. You can look at the rock, you can look at your drawing. Do they look the same? Yes, no. And that'll tell you whether you did it right. And you just know immediately. There's no subjectivity to it. Okay, I'm feeling lazy now, so I'm gonna go ahead and just, we're gonna line tool it up here. Gonna keep it easy. I guess I should make sure that I actually like the shape of the mouth, though. That's probably important. Just a little. Yeah, this side being pulled up more. Where'd my cursor go? There it is. Yeah, this side being pulled up more I think makes sense, so this line is a bit longer and sharper than this side. Doesn't make her look lopsided, though. This is following the shape of her chin. She does feel just a little bit lopsided. I think that's real easy to fix, though. So all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this and kinda push it over just a little here. Can I line that up slightly better? Okay, I'm gonna have to believe in my hands. Always a terrifying prospect, but oh man, they just don't line up quite right. Okay, so I'm gonna have to pull some shenanigans regardless. Life is hard. Okay. Well, let me make sure that I have everything in the right spot now, then. The big thing is that I want to... Like, she's looking right at us, right? That this is a front view. This is maybe, at the most, slightly angled downward. Just slightly. Although I think I have it drawn slightly upward. Oh, that's fine. Okay, we'll call it slightly upward. She's facing slightly upward, maybe. So I want to make sure that everything kind of follows that path, and you can see that my teeth lines are already completely wrong, and that's okay. Actually, you know what? If I have to do something like that anyway, let's just grab it from here, where I will hopefully have fewer straight lines to fix. I'm just trying to line it up with her chin. It makes me think that maybe I should actually draw her chin first before I perfect this. Yeah, you know, that seems like a reasonable idea here. I want to keep her chin really pointy. She is... Oh no, her jawline is really soft, isn't it? I mean, the chin is pointy, yes, but... No. We're gonna go full pointy chin here. Okay. So I'm gonna hide her hair for a second. We're gonna go bald nitty for just a little bit. And I am going to make that jawline nice. I'm gonna call it symmetrical enough. Mostly, I just want to make sure that I have the right parts for my start and end points of my straight lines. Because, you know, right now things are pretty curved. Yeah, it's all very curved, which is just unacceptable for the style. Why are you not erasing? Oh, I'm on the wrong layer. That would explain it. Okay, we're kind of looking at where the mouth is to determine where the corners of her jaw should be. And wow, I'm making it a lot thinner if I do it like that. There versus there. This side is too high anyway. Okay, this side I think is okay, but I brought that side up a little bit too high. I have to remember that this is a very, very big smile. She's so happy to see you. And looking at the angle of her eyes, they're different sizes, so that makes it a little bit harder to follow. But her head is tilted this way. Yes, this way. So I want to make sure that the corner of her jaw on this side here is a little bit lower than where it is over here. Okay, so I think right about there is probably good. Let me erase the excess around here so I can actually check sanely. You know, it's the face. I don't want to mess around. I gotta make sure it's perfect. Oh yeah, I dig the pointy chin. That thing looks like it could stab the heck out of me. That's perfect. I'm gonna center it just a little bit better, though. There we go. Okay. Yep, that definitely looks like it could cause some lethal injuries, so that's exactly what I want. So let's go do the next layer of jaw. Kind of where it goes up into her head, and the rest I know is covered by hair. I just wanted to make sure I could see clearly before attempting to do this. And man, I feel so lazy just going in and doing all this with the line tool and not even attempting to draw it myself. I feel a little bad about it, actually, but I don't know, man. I've been a little sick. So it seems like the perfect time to just take it easy. There. Okay. We got a little piece sticking out, but I'm pretty sure it's covered by hair, so it's fine. Oh, and I have some residue here that I got to get rid of. How the heck did that get down there? Whatever. Weirder things have happened. It's fine. Okay. But there we go. We got a jawline now, so I should be able to place the mouth a little bit better. Let's go. Yeah, I'll leave the head shadows off for a little bit. I'll go turn them back on once I'm happy with the mouth here. The teeth are placed entirely wrong now, but it's fine. So basically what I'm trying to do is line up the angle that I see the jaw going at with this bottom line on the teeth. That should get it right where I want it. Easier said than done. I have never been super great at judging these things. It's okay, that's why I gotta do it more. That's why I'm not just drawing a straight line across. I'm actually trying to measure it out myself. Because that'll make me better at it in the long run. I am a believer in using tools as much as you can. I don't think it's cheating. But at the same time, if you want to get better at something, you have to force your brain to do it repeatedly and often. So that's why I want to try to figure out how to line these things up without the help of a line tool. I'm taking it easy, but it's okay. That doesn't mean I can't practice at all. Didn't I say that this one had to be lower? Why is it higher? Brains, not even once. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's higher. That is absolutely higher. Let's, I'm gonna get a line just to demonstrate what I'm talking about here. So if I connect here to here, it looks like this. That is the line. And you can see that, no, this side is indeed a little bit lower. Oh, it's because I had the canvas flipped. Okay, we're good. And if I were to take a different line, I'll do it in neon orange here because that's the color in my color picker. This is straight. Okay. I've got the line. I'm gonna go ahead and use it. I was actually really close, though. I just got thrown off by this side being higher when I had the canvas flipped. I forgot that I had the canvas flipped. Okay. Yeah, there we go. That was pretty close. I think I got that just about right. So I'll go ahead and remove those lines. We can give her hair back. And, you know, I think that's pretty alright. I do need to put the little teeth spikes back. But I think I can go in and start filling in the white part of the mouth. They're going to be somewhere around there. I'm not exactly sure. I don't care right now. I'm going to go ahead and get the white part. Let's go. I'll care in a few minutes. But first things first, I want to really define the white part here. The teethy part of her teeth, as opposed to the abyss of her mouth. Yes. Oh, I have the wrong color selected. Oh no, this part needs to be black. It is shadows, so it must be black. This here, this is all normal stuff. So this part can be white. I think I want the shadows to be a little bit juicier, though. I say as I accidentally grab white. It's okay. So I'm going to keep going across until I am happy. A little bit more, I think. Just a little. And I'm trying to make sure that I follow the angle of the mouth there. I'm not worried about the corners just yet. I wanted to get everything else first. And then I can work on the corners. Okay. So I think that's the gist. I'm going to go ahead and fill in some of these parts here. And now I get to figure out exactly how I want them to be going up into the corners here. So there's kind of two choices. I could have it go all the way and just have all of it be white like this. Just, you know, with my shadows. Or I could keep the corners a little bit more shadowed. I'm going to make a new layer. And I'm going to try both. Let's see. You guys aren't in a group. So I can't actually make this easy for myself. Okay, in that case, I'm going to duplicate the layer. Okay. So I'm going to try both. I'm not quite sure which one I want to do. So I'm going to let the teeth here come up and follow the corner of her mouth. I need a thinner brush. That's probably a bit too thin. There we go. Okay. Just gonna let it come on up. Follow the general shape of the mouth. I'm gonna try to keep the shadows the same width, so I will have to adjust the angle there. That's okay. And then from here to up here. Okay, let's fill in some of that, and then I can get the shadows a little bit more accurate. I don't really feel the need to go for extreme accuracy here. This is science. This is just science. So, I want to do just enough. Oops. No, we're not drawing Katya right now. I do look forward to it, but no, we're going to do this one now. I think this drawing is good too. Getting to do all kinds of weird things. Okay. Alright, so that's one side kind of roughed in. We'll follow over here now. I think here to here is good. So I just got to get from here to up here. Okay, so that very roughly. Alright, let's put the basic teeth in. Okay, that's not bad. And if we do it from here, where I let the corners of her mouth kind of cast their own shadow. That is what this test is going to do. And And I just wasn't sure which one, which idea I liked better, so it's alright. Sometimes you gotta try things to figure it out. So what I'm gonna do there is I'm gonna let this one go up just a little. And then it's gonna wrap around just a bit. Kind of like that. So instead, we get something a little bit like this, where it kind of starts up. I actually don't like that angle, so I'm gonna fix that, and comes down. And I can worry about getting all those lines perfectly straight when it suits me. Once the test has concluded, and I can decide which one of these options I like better. Okay, let's take a look here. We'll put the little teeth lines on, and now we'll take a look between them. Okay, I think the big smile makes her smile look much bigger and toothier. But, so I want to keep that version. But I do want the corners here to go a little bit more like that, I think. Yeah, I think that's good. I think this is exactly what I want. So I'll go ahead and clean up this option. And we'll get rid of some of those last few little edges there, like here, for example. I think I'm going to try to do it manually again. After all, the way you get better at things is deliberately making your life harder. Stretch your limits and do all you can. But as I've been telling myself lately, it's also giving yourself space to make your life harder. If it's too hard, you can't do anything at all, and it just sucks. Okay, I think I've gotten all the harsh edges out of there, or rather I should say all the uneven ones. They're supposed to be harsh. Teeth time. Alright, let's get these guys into place here. Once again, just trying to line that up with the angle of the mouth down there. And then I want them to be all about the same size. I don't want to look like it's curving back at all. I just want it to look flat. Perhaps a strange thing to say, given how much you normally want to go for 3D-ness, but no, this is purely symbolic. I want this to be a super flat. I think it'll make it much easier to understand. And I think it'll suit the style. Also, I really, really love what this mouth is doing for her expression. I think this is fantastic. Phew. So just trying to make sure that the bottom of these follow that angle and the top of them also follow. That's where I'm judging that whether or not they're in the right place. And I'll just go ahead and render it on the layer it's currently on. I'll merge it down after. I might not even merge it down today. But I think that this is good. I'll go ahead and draw it instead of using the line tool. Let's see what I can do. These are short. shorter lines are a bit easier to keep straight. So I'm choosing to believe in myself this time. All right. See, this is where I get to relax a little bit. The decisions have been made. Everything's all kind of lined up. So now it's just a matter of making it nice and smooth. Get everything just right. I think having them line up in this corner is okay. Normally, I'd want to avoid stuff like that, but I think it's okay here. I think it's fine. So I'm not going to worry about it. This one at the end is a bit of a mess, so it's going to take a little bit more to really smooth that one out. But, you know, it's okay. Some things need more help than others. It's all good. Okay. Phew. Yeah, I think this is working. I think this is a little bit too tall, though. So let's make this one a bit shorter. It needs to be following this path. And it was kind of sticking up a little bit. Let me see, how do I feel at the bottom? I think the bottom is a little bit high as well. Yeah, the one in the corner was just a little bit more loosely defined than the others. So he needs a little bit more help to be looking good. All right. Let's see, I think he also needs to come a little bit further to the right here, or left, excuse me. The dyslexia always strikes, it's fine. This way. Needs to come this way. I just don't like the angle he was coming up at. Give me a little bit more room for the edge here, too. I think you do as well, actually. I think it's just as well that I could not, or that I decided not to use the line tool. I'm trying real hard to not make it too 3D. I want this to be very flat. So I'm just gonna try to line them up a little better. I'm also kind of deciding the thickness of the line, but I kind of like the idea of the top casting a shadow on the bottom. But at the same time, I don't actually feel like that's what this looks like. So I think I'm actually gonna make the lines thinner. We'll do it from both sides. Oh, right. I shouldn't be using white for this. We just erase. This is on a separate layer. There we go. Yeah, I think they look a little bit better thinner. I don't want to make them too thin because I do want them to stand out. I think her big toothy smile is important. But I think that level of thickness should look pretty good. It's thinner than what's in the rest of the mouth. So I think this works. Okay, and once again, I kind of want to zoom out and make adjustments. These are things I really should be doing before I fully smooth it. But at the same time, this has been my eternal struggle with this kind of thing, where I do regularly say, you know, I feel like I should have checked this before I started smoothing it, so that this way I wouldn't have to smooth it again. But oftentimes, when things are really messy, I can't quite see how things are supposed to go. And I see it better when it's a little bit smoother. And so that makes it the best time to adjust it, because I see where I'm going with this and what I want to be doing. So I feel like it's a bit of a catch-22, where I need it to be a little bit smoothed before I can know for sure, but if I smooth it too much, then I just end up having to redo everything after prodding it with Liquify, because Liquify makes it really blurry. So it's just one of those things. I'm still trying to figure out the optimal way to handle it. And I like thinking about it very actively, because I still do want to draw faster. I want to be able to do that eventually. I think it'll open all kinds of doors for me. And I think the best way to have a particular goal with art is think about it. You think about it a lot. You start taking steps in that direction. You take things that you used to just kind of do in your unconscious mind and think, does this mesh with my current art goal? Yes or no? If I fixed this particular thing, would that help my current art goal? And actively thinking about those kinds of things, I think, will make it more likely that you meet your art goals. So, I like to be very deliberate about these things. And you wouldn't know it from the pictures that I'm doing on stream right now, because, you know, Katya, I'm doing active studying, which means I'm going to be slower. And here, I'm just kind of doing some style experiments and trying to push my limits, so makes me a little bit slower. But I have noticed that I am a lot faster than I used to be. It's working. It absolutely is. I think I still have a long way to go. And I think it would be really nice if I could find a particular stylistic way to handle what most normal artists would consider sketching. Since I like to sketch with blobs of color, and they're often nigh unreadable until I clean it up a lot. So I'd like to have one that I can kind of sketch out quickly. And have it be understandable and not just random blobs. I think that'll be really helpful. But I have not found such a thing yet. I've come closer. But the things I have discovered in that regard are more ways to add loose detail that still looks okay, rather than something to get the idea down quickly. But yeah, I think I have these teeth lined up well now. So it's just a matter of making the lines nice and straight. Let's see, I'm gonna actually grab the line tool. I want to check to see how close I got to making these just completely straight. Actually decently close, nice. Okay, let's use the line tool for the rest. Yeah, this one was actually pretty much spot on, so that's pretty cool. I'll probably have to go back and make some of this pointy again, but this will give me a good start. And just make my life a little bit easier in that regard. Alright. I am of the opinion that learning how to use my tools better will also be key to making me faster. So that's why I don't really hesitate to use line tool for things sometimes. It's like I do want to practice my stroke making because I do think that being able to do things in less strokes will also let me be a little bit faster. So it's like I do like to practice that, but at the same time, tools are there to be used. Okay, there we go. We got a mouth. So now I can kind of revisit the parts of her eyes I didn't like much. So there were two things. One, I think I have her pupils a little bit small. Not that small, but a little bit. And I forgot to put a highlight in them. Slipped my mind entirely. To be fair, it was near the end of stream, and I really wanted to finish them. I did. So, these things happen. I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger. And I'm gonna do them separately, because I don't actually care if they're the same size. That's just the nature of this kind of expression. They can be different sizes, and it's fine. Let me see. Are your eyes more perfect diamonds, or are they elongated diamonds? Okay, elongated the wrong word. I guess I should say, are they balanced diamonds, or are they kind of asymmetrical? But no, they're actually quite balanced. So I should try to make the top and the bottom about the same. They are elongated diamonds. So they're not like tilted squares, they're tilted rectangles. But the top half and the bottom half are about the same. Whereas on my previous ones, I had the top half smaller than the bottom half. So that's more of the asymmetrical diamond look. But they are symmetrical, top and bottom. I've mentioned before that when you're drawing fan art of someone, a lot of the details in the shape of the hair and the shape of the eyes are really important. You know, if you're drawing the anime, because anime girls don't have a ton of detail, so the details that are there end up mattering way more than you might expect. And it'll go a long way to making it look like the character if you can get these things right. Alright, gonna make you a little bit bigger. Once again, doing it without looking at the other side, because I don't care if they're the same size. It's fine. They can be different sizes. It suits this kind of expression perfectly. All right. Okay, so I'm just trying to get this a little bit more symmetrical. I'm not quite happy with it right now. This corner is a little bit too low. And then this side has a little bit of curvature to it that I don't really like. Let's see, and I still feel like it's a little skewed, so let's just skew it back. There we go. That's a bit better. Okay, and that should look fine. I think it's fine that they are different sizes. So let's get that specular highlight in there. I'm just going to do that in white, and it will be sharp. Let's see, where do the highlights go in her model? Yeah, where the heck are they? Do her eyes not have highlights? I see one on the eyelash, but I don't actually see one in her eye. Fascinating. You know, that might be why I forgot to draw it, because I almost never forget to draw the specular highlight. But yeah, in pretty much every bit of official art I see of her, she has no highlights. Whoa. That's bizarre. Okay, I see one here, just kind of sitting on top of the pupil. Very, very tiny, though. That's fascinating. Man, I can't remember the last time that I've seen a cute type. She's very much the cute type. Not have just a big ol' specular, but yeah, she's got a tiny one right here sometimes. Not always, though. Let's go look at her model reference. Is it even in here? No, you can see absolutely no highlight. It's like the eyes themselves have quite a bit of detail. But yeah, there is absolutely no highlight in there. Funky. Okay, I'm gonna have to think about how I'm gonna do that then. Because normally I'd just do a big old triangle. Kind of like this. But she has no highlight most of the time. I do want one. I don't know, do I just put it on top of the pupil? Yeah, I actually think that looks good. So I'll just do a basic tiny pupil highlight. I learn something new every day. You really can do whatever the hell you want with anime. I actually want to take a look at her eyes now. Because that is new and exciting to me, and being able to make someone this cute with absolutely no highlights in the eyes. What did they do instead? Because her eyes still look very shiny and moist. And that she doesn't look dead inside at all. Some of that can be attributed to the expressiveness of the rigging, I think, but not all of it. Okay, so you can't see anything on this reference sheet, so let's go and switch to the browser real quick. I want to understand this. Okay, let's get this on up here. We'll turn on the browser, turn off the Krita, and here we go. So here we go. Nice zoomed in set of eyes here. So we do get a little bit of highlight on the eyelashes still. But otherwise, it's like the inside of her eyes almost looks a little bit scaly. Okay, I can't really find it here. Let's, can I open this image in a new tab? Okay, it's small, but I can at least zoom in a little. It'll be a little blurry, but that's okay. So looking at this, the pupil is black, but has the little red spot there. And then I did observe that her eyes themselves looked a little bit like they had scales in them. So you can kind of see the little bit coming down here, and then a couple little lines coming out there. The light here is bright, but not really bright compared to a lot of anime girls since her eyes are so light already. Her eyes are also a little bit greener in this. Did I pick a good color from the reference here? Yeah, her eyes look much more yellow in her actual model art, so I'll keep that color. So nice and dark around the edges. This is, I'd say, darker than most anime girls. This little ring going around here, so I wonder if that aids in that, in making her eyes still look moist and pretty despite the lack of highlight. Let's see. Yeah, this one has the little highlight on top of the pupil. It's very small. More red in the pupil than the other one. Let's go find some of her actual model. Oh yeah. Oh man, why does it have to be so small? Her debut was fantastic. The way she mixed 2D and 3D was super interesting. It was so cool. Okay, here we go. We got a smug one here. Yeah, that's wild. How does she not look dead inside? Every time I try to draw anime girls without big old juicy specular highlights, they always look so dead inside to me. But her eyes do not look dead in the slightest. I mean, that's why I never noticed. I never noticed that there was no highlight. I guess I see just a little bit of one right there at the top of the pupil there, but I think that might actually just be that her eyelashes are lined with a little bit of light. Kind of a white line there, and I think that's what that is. I don't think that's actually a highlight. Is it just because they're so bright to begin with that having a bright specular highlight wouldn't actually change much? Alright, we got a happy face here. The white line around the eyelashes is interesting. Another thing I never really noticed. Let's see if we can find a better happy face. This is a decent happy face. She's looking a little bit embarrassed. Okay. No, there's the tiny highlights there on this one. So I guess I have been there. They're just very small. Alright, well, thank you for indulging me on my adventure of figuring out how she could still look not dead inside with highlights. My current conclusion, I think they probably are there a lot of the time. Maybe more so than I give them credit for. But, even here, it's like, no, it's really not. But, I think half of it is just that her eyes are already so light that the specular highlight just makes less of a difference. No, I've drawn some pretty light eyes, and they still look kind of dead inside without speculars to me. So I'm not quite sure if I've solved that mystery yet, but I want to keep that in mind, because there's been a few things when I've looked really, really closely at art where I just realized that everything I know is wrong. Yeah, no highlights here. How odd. I'm not sure what to make of that. I will have to think about that. Let's go back to Krita now. Because I don't think I'm going to get any further in figuring that out, but it was still interesting. Alright, where was I going with this? Oh yes, that's right. I was figuring out what to do for the specular highlights. I'll still put a tiny one on top of the pupil. Because I like them. Just have a tiny little diamond here and it'll be great, and I like it. And now I need the black part underneath. I want to stick out from the pupil just a little bit there. So the bottom part will be a little bit bigger than the top part. So the other thing that was making me think, hey, everything I know about art is wrong, is I looked yesterday at the artist that did a lot of the art in Path to Nowhere. I adore his art. I think it is fantastic. And I noticed that even though everything about his art looks incredibly soft, he actually uses a ton of hard edges. Which just makes me realize, hey, I don't have to do quite as much work to get my art to look soft as I thought I did. I don't have to be blending quite so hard and in order to get lovely effects like that. So that's one area where I feel like everything I know is wrong. And now here, where I'm just like, oh man, you can draw really nice eyes without a specular highlight. Holy cow. Never would have guessed. So every time I tried, they just always looked so dead inside. It just immediately became a hide the pain expression. Okay. Oops. I'm debating on whether or not they look better without it. You know, I think they do. Okay, I'm gonna leave them on for a little bit, and I'll revisit that in a little bit. I'm gonna go and do the head shadows now. So, we'll go and really perfect the shapes here. Let's see, I know she has a shadow over the eyes toggle. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, there's one. So on her, she puts it just all the way over the cheek, but I don't want to go that low. Okay. I think I know what to do, though. To the head shadows. Yeah, I'm gonna have to adjust some of that. But I think I just want this to go a little bit more over her nose, and I will have to turn the eyelashes hot pink again briefly. And I want this to be a little bit more symmetrical. And I want her cheek to be puffing up a little bit more here, so this side will get a little bit less shadow. But around the nose, I want it to be pretty symmetrical. Alright. So I think something like that should be pretty good. Let's get that nose area just a little bit more symmetrical. I want the point to kind of follow the point of the nose. So that needs to push it a little further this way. Just let that nose be like a little arrow. It's pointing the wrong way, but that's okay. It can still be like a little arrow. It's doing its best. And I think I want that point to be a little bit higher up. There we go. There we go. And then from there, I want this to kind of follow her cheeks. So this one's going to come down a little bit, but then it's going to come up a little bit. And she's still smiling pretty big. That's still a pretty freaking huge smile, even on the side that's a little bit less smarmy. Will I put a landscape in this one in the future? No, not this one. This one's going to be transparent. Yeah, so this one gets no background. Everything in the series is going to be transparent background. But at some point, I might draw the characters again with a different idea, and those ones might get backgrounds. I tend to draw more backgrounds than not. I like drawing backgrounds. Okay, and it's okay. Different drawings have different purposes. I like it a little thicker down there. It definitely feels a little bit more like a cast shadow. Kind of want to do the same thing on this side, where the bottom is just a little bit thicker there. I think I actually want to get rid of a lot of the shadow that I have going around her eyes on this side. We're gonna let that little piece of her smile just really push that cheek up into her eye. She's gonna poke herself with her own cheeks. It's gonna be great. Okay. Let's see. I think I can make this side look a little bit better. I just need it to flow into the shadow from the hair a little bit better. Because right now that's it's a little bit jarring and I don't like it. But I do want it to be kind of a little bit flatter on top. I could probably leave it pretty pointy, actually. Thinking about it now. Yeah, I think it's actually better pointy. Okay. Cheeks are pointy today. Okay. Yeah, I think that's fine. Alright. And then I don't think the rest of her face needs an outline because all of the stuff underneath is going to be black. So it'll pretend to be the hair's outline. Alright, let's go make her eyelashes a hot pink temporarily again. Because I need to be able to see where certain things are. Okay, so now I can make her eyelashes pop out from the head shadows here, and it'll be better. Because you'll actually be able to see them, and they won't just sink into the inky blackness. I actually had that pretty good before, but then I messed it all up at her bottom lashes here, trying to get the shape of the head shadows right. Sacrifices had to be made. It's okay, I can fix it. All right. So last time I just kind of left it all messy and got it started. And this time I actually need to go in and finish it all. So no more blobs anywhere. Gotta work it all out. Make it all nice and smooth. Let's see. I think this side is a little bit too thick. So let's pull that back a little. But I do like the way that it looks better. With just a little bit of lightness around the eyelashes. It makes them more visible, and it makes her expression a little bit more clear. And I want them to be just a little bit thinner at the bottom. I'm also realizing that eyelashes are curved. Am I okay with this, or should I fix that? No, I should definitely fix that. Okay. The curved line strike again. I keep doing it. Okay. There's small, which is why I was asking myself if I needed to bother fixing it, but their eyes. Anime eyes are just way too important to leave something as terrible as curved lines in them, you know? Not with this style, no. They must be straight. All of them. Except this. Except the eyeball itself. The iris and eyeball, you can see the curved line over there. Those are the only parts. And I guess her chest. All the other girls, I also left those curved. I probably will do it here too. But no, I don't think the eyelashes should be curved. I think that they should be quite angular and should very much look like they can stab you. I think that's just exactly what I want for this picture. Still fighting my instincts at every turn, though. I'm glad I caught it before I got too far, because while rendering it, I did not notice at all. I've been really out of it lately. And it's fine if it doesn't perfectly line up with what I have drawn before. All that matters is that these visible parts are looking right. That's all that matters. Everything else might as well not exist, because I'm not going to animate this one. I actually have been looking more into puppet animation, seeing if I have any open source options that are not Inochi 2D. I'm so sad about Inochi 2D. I really hope that it starts getting going at some point again, because I think it has a lot of promise. It's just been so unstable. I lurk in the Discord sometimes, and I swear just every few days I see somebody asking about a problem, and they're just like, yeah, this is a known bug. We hope it gets fixed soon. Except it's been that way for well over a year. And I'm like, yep. I know, it's an open source project, and things happen on a bit of a slower timeline there, but it's just really hard to want to go and use it when I don't know if I'm gonna suddenly lose all my work or if I'm not going to be able to make changes that I want because I might make everything explode. I did render a full model on stream way back when, and I wanted to go and add some more, I guess, keyframes to make the head turn a little bit more smooth. And I tried to add it, and it just utterly destroyed all the turns that I did. It was completely wrong at that point. If I didn't have a backup, I would have had to redo them, and I just don't consider that acceptable. So, unfortunately, I had a backup, so I didn't lose everything. I had learned early on, make sure I keep frequent backups, because otherwise I will die in real life. So, I was prepared. But I don't feel like I should have to be that prepared. And then the animation timeline on it is unfinished, which I actually think is fine for the time being, since it was meant to make VTuber models, and I just want to get that up to feature parity before going into more animation features. So that one actually didn't bother me very much, but it does make it really annoying to animate things while it's kind of clunky. So I've been looking into other options. I have found one I want to investigate at some point. Actually, on my list of things to do, not this coming week, but the week after. This coming week, I want to see how many shitpost illustrations I can finish in a week. I have ideas for 5. We'll see how many of them I get to. It'll be a real test to see if I'm getting fast. Or if at the very least I can find a style that is messier and thus takes less time to draw, but I still like the way it looks. That's the real goal. Alright, I think the eyelashes are starting to look pretty good with their little, well, it's not a white line, it's technically the skin tone, but compared to everything else, it looks pretty white, so I'll call it a white line. With the white line going around it. Definitely making everything much more visible. Alright, I want to make sure to... Oh, now I have some spots where the eye white is not out of the eyelashes. It looks like I do. That's a problem. There we go. And also some spots where it looks like it's not even fully filled in. That's also a problem when I'm using black like this. Okay. There we go. No, that part's fine. Okay. The things you notice when it's rendering time. So earlier this week, I read a bunch of, well, I guess I can't say a bunch, but some classic Sherlock Holmes, and it was really interesting. I think it's really interesting to experience media from the past, which is why I'm big on archival sites and anything that's just trying to keep these things alive. I think it's fantastic. It is a really wonderful time capsule to the past to just see how people felt and how they thought and what kinds of things they like to produce. I like it quite a lot. And I was thinking about that because lately I've been watching classic Whose Line Is It Anyway? So the first of the American seasons. I not currently watching the British original, but I might someday. But yes, of the first season of the American run in 2003. And some of the things that they're able to joke about, the kind of humor that they enjoy, and just man, just everything about it, the performances, all that stuff, absolutely a time capsule to that time as well. And, you know, not to mention, very funny. And I'm glad I was able to find it. I'm glad that it still exists out there. Even though I'm pretty sure the cable run is long since over. I'm not even sure how old a lot of the talents that were on it are anymore. Or if they're even still doing anything. I might look into that. But man, has it been great to re-experience all that. I think proper archival is really important, even for things that are not very good. It makes me fear for the current generation of video games. I'm really worried that a lot of them are going to be completely lost. Since so many of them are, you know, online live service model, I think it's really a shame. And what I think is even more shameful is I don't actually think that the people that make them really care. I'm sure some individuals that are programming them do, or that are working on them. Some of the rank and file people. I'm sure some of them do, or will be really sad when they're no longer available. But the people that own the companies and all that, I really don't think they care if the games are lost forever. And that keeping their proprietary secrets is more important than making sure that the media they produced actually lives. And I think it's very telling of the current state of things. I mean, can you imagine some of these 19th century authors saying, yeah, when I'm dead, I don't want anybody reading my books anymore. Please bury them with me and make sure they never see the light of day. Burn every copy, because I can't make money off of them anymore. Like, what the hell? So I appreciate all the archival efforts out there. I've seen some museums popping up dedicated to some classic games and stuff, and I think that's very exciting. And of just being able to see where we came from and which ideas came out of things. I think you can get ideas for things in some of the weirdest of places. In some of the weirdest of ways. So I like having all these little windows into the past and I think it's a great way to try to understand the people that lived there. I like talking about the past like it's a place. Just like I like talking about my past and future selves as though they're people. It tends to be how I see things, because theoretically, with our understanding of space, we don't really think much about moving through space, right? We just you can walk to the other side of the room and it's fine, no problem at all. But with our current understanding of how space-time works, we should theoretically be able to do that with time as well, and I think that's a really interesting idea. And while we may not be able to do it as easily as walking through a room, I think with current technology, just reading the stories of the past, looking at the art of the past, and just looking at what they left behind is probably the closest we can get to doing that. For now. This is why I find the nature of the universe very interesting too, because it's very counterintuitive. It really feels like everything breaks when things get really, really big or really, really small. I know it's just that our senses are not well suited for actually understanding the nature of the universe. They're good for living on Earth, but maybe not so good for understanding the mysteries of the universe. But I always like describing it like that, of just, reality breaks. Everything you know is wrong. There is no up and down, only straight lines. But I think I'd like to do more readings and just more looking at neat stuff from the past. I don't think I really have the knowledge to explain a bunch of art history stuff like, say, Rodden of Hololive or anything. But I think it's interesting. I'll just have to talk about things as a lay person. As a hobbyist, so to speak. I mean, it's never stopped me from talking about space, so it'll be fine. The world is just so interesting, man. It's gotta stop it. There's too many things I want to do. Let me focus. It's too hard. Can't do it. What is that? Is that... I think that's a bit of eye white sticking out. That's not good. There we go. Alright. Alright, well, I am well on my way to finishing out the face today. I think I might even be able to get started on the shoulders. So that's pretty cool. That's even with all my distractions. Because it's almost done. I just gotta get the eyelashes looking good, and I want to blush her cheeks a little bit. But that'll do it. No, right here is too curved. Please stop. There we go. The head shadows are almost done. I think they're looking good. I really love her smile. She looks so happy to mess you up. It's wonderful. All right. So I think that's it for the eye areas. Let's go ahead and... No, you know what? Before I turn the eyelashes back, I think I'm going to finish off the rest of the shadows here. They're still a little bit lumpy. The lines not straight enough, the edges not sharp enough. Little things to fix here and there. Just little things here. Just gotta get it a little bit smoother and then it'll be great. Sometimes it only takes a little bit. Okay, I already did that side, so that's good. I think this is the last bit then. There we go. So now let's change those eyelashes back to black. And we'll see how all this shakes out. Because I did try them green, but I didn't like the way it looked. So, yeah, I think that works. So I think that's basically the head finished. I might need to make some body adjustments to match up with some changes I've made on the head. I'm not sure yet. But I'm still not quite happy with the legs. But I kind of don't feel like fixing them right now. I just kind of want to keep going, and maybe I'll regret my life choices later. But at the same time, you know, I talked about it a little bit earlier today, where I said, sometimes it can be really hard for me to tell how to fix something until it's smooth enough for me to see it properly. And I'm kind of hoping that'll be the case with the legs, where when I have a few more points of data to be able to understand it better, maybe I'll have a slightly easier time. I'm also considering if I want to add some little lines coming out of the corners here. Be some... basically where the skin around her mouth would be being pulled from having such a wide smile. Let's get the blush on the cheeks first. I don't want it to be too strong. I started really strong there because I wanted to make sure it was spread around properly. I'm gonna be taking it back quite a bit. How's that? I think that's pretty good. Let's add some lights. There is no F in blush light. Don't know why my hand wanted to hit the letter F, but there you go. Make her cheeks look nice and rosy. As even if she's supposed to look a little bit scary, I still want her to look pretty cute. I still want it to be nice and cute. I just don't think she's quite nitty if she's not super cute. Alright. So another case of normally when I draw these things, I'd make them round. But this is this picture, and this is this style, so no, it doesn't get to be round. It must only be comprised of straight lines. Yes. Very important. Oh man, I actually tried to make them bigger than usual, because normally I make them too small, but I made them a little too big. Overcompensated. Okay. Well, that's alright. I'll shrink them down. This one I think is okay in size, it's just not in the right spot. It needs to be higher up. There we go. That's a nice little smile. Alright, and I do want to try adding some little lines where the skin on her cheeks is being pulled back. Oh yeah, I think that looks pretty good actually. So let's see about getting the right thickness here. Getting it where it needs to go. Do I want to connect it to the mouth itself, or do I want it to be a short distance away? No. On this side, this is great on this side. I like this. Let's see, I think I want to change the angle slightly, though. Oh, yeah. Now her mouth is a big arrow. We got so many random arrows on her face here. It's sure something. There's a word for it. There's words for everything. Okay, I think that's about how I want it, so let's go ahead and smooth that out, and yeah, I got some time to get started on the body after this. I think her head's looking pretty good. Get those angles nice and sharp. As always, you know, I need to be able to stab myself on them. Very important. Doesn't look right if I do not feel like I could draw blood if I touch them wrong. I'm going to change the angle of this one just a little here. There we go. Off to the other side. This one looks like a little dolphin. Okay. This one's a little bit too deep. I might need to move it a bit, but I want to get it to be the right thickness. I haven't decided if it should be merging with the mouth or not. I think it was the right call for the other one, but I'm less sure on this one. So I'll just see where it kind of hangs out. Okay, so let's see what it looks like if I connect it to the corner of the mouth there versus have it a little further away. Oh no, it's better way. It's better further away. On this side, I think it's better further away. Okay, what about the other side? You know, I just kind of assumed that this was fine, but does it look better? Oops. Gotta watch my selection there since I did do this on the head shadows layer. I do not want to be picking up any other shadows. No, I think this one's fine on this side. So yeah, well, we'll just leave it like that. And I think that is her head. Let's see, is there anything else I want to do with this? Stretch time while I stare. Oh yeah. Stretch out those arms before they lock up on me. Alright. No, I think this is pretty good. We'll see how I feel next week, but I think I can be happy with that. There are a lot of things I'm not really sure about with this one, but no, I think the face looks good. I think if just the face was in all this, that'd be okay. I think I went a little bit too hard at the perspective. It is leaving me very unsure of things. I don't really want to fix it though. I think I'm just gonna let this one exist like this. I still think it's kind of cute. It's certainly not the worst thing I've drawn. And I'm just gonna go from there. Alright, let's get started on kind of your upper torso area. So I know everything through here should just be black. It's gonna act as kind of the outline to a lot of the hair and her head. And then I see that the bat here has a shadow too. I think the bat is going to be one of the early things I do, but I think I want to make sure that I'm happy with the general shape of her shoulders because I want to make sure I can get her arm and hand good before I do the bat. All right. So let's start staring at that. Let's mold over perspective again, because you know it never ends when you decide to make choices like this. I say it like it's a bad thing, but no, I'm happy that I keep trying new things and to just really push my limits as hard as I can. It feels good. So let's see, her head is going this way, so her shoulder should have some of that same energy. And I know that the little sailor suit collar thing, the school uniform bit, is sitting on top of her shoulders like that. Let's see, I am going to revoke her head privileges for a moment while I kind of start straightening this stuff out. It's okay, she'll get it later. She doesn't need it right now. Who needs a head when you're just cute? It's all good. I remember thinking very hard about how things connected here. I think I got it decently correct. I've been wanting to really think about that because I do think that getting a better understanding of how things connect to other things will help my art a lot. I think when it comes to anatomy and proportion studies and whatnot, that is going to be the next big thing. For my art. Just getting a better understanding of how things fit together. Let's see, I think you need to be a little bit longer. I think that idea will take me quite far. I do. I think it'll be fantastic. And I'm not going to be worried about getting the angles there exactly correct because they're hidden. As long as they're close enough that I can understand. Let's hide the bat for a second, too. Okay, so how does this sit on her shoulders? So I'm trying to picture it. So on the back, it kind of goes down into a square thing. So that means if I were to stretch it out over a table or something, and say I need to iron it, we'd get this part kind of going down like here. This is like roughly where her head is going to go. And it's going to roll over the shoulders. And then let's make that a little smaller so I can actually draw the rest. That's probably a good idea. Then it'll continue outward and we get the square bit on the back. Head is maybe a little higher up. Okay, so I have a kind of a shield shape like this. And so this part rounded out like that. Are there... No, it looks like it just goes up and sits on her shoulders. So the shoulders are probably pretty square. Okay. I think I have an idea of what I need to do. So let's see. At what angle are her arms tilted? This one's going down. This one's going up. So that's going to change the angle that this sits on her. So I think on this side, we actually want this to come in and then down. And I think this needs to be angled a little bit more like that. I don't think that this is quite correct. Part of me figures out I really should figure out the angle between her two shoulders like this. But I'm not gonna right now. We'll see if I have to. Okay, and it's gonna curve in this way as it goes down her back. And I think on this side specifically, it rests on her arm by... Since it's going up, if it's resting on her shoulders, that'll kind of push it up like that. And then there will be some folds. So it'll be like pulled like this. All of this is probably going to be black, but I'm just doing this to help my understanding for now. So we'll get something kind of like this, where it's being pulled up onto her shoulder. Yeah, and I think leaving it as a triangle is fine. And then it'll come back down right through here. So this is kind of where the side of her arm is, so I'll start sending it back down. And I think we see a little bit more of the top there. I think it'll actually come a little bit further this way. There and back down. So something like that, and then we'll have like folds going down and doing fold things, and it'll be great. Yeah, I think that reads, and this one's going down, so I think it's just gonna sit normally on her shoulder, just gonna kind of drape over it, not doing anything in particular. So I think we're just gonna get a shape kind of like this, where it just kind of goes. It's not trying real hard. It's just gonna go in. And then it'll flatten out near the bottom here. Be nice and straight through there. And it'll flatten out at the bottom. So I think we get something like this. I'm not gonna worry about the little stripes on it yet. That'll come later. The only reason I had that before was to check for color balance and make sure that that kind of thing read well. So now I have a general idea. Let's start figuring out where all the shadows need to be. These are mostly cast from the head and the hair. And let's get some from the hair here. I think I want the top of the shoulders to be mostly in shadow as well. So all back there will be in shadow. It'll hide all my mistakes wonderfully. So I appreciate that. That's why I didn't want to go too hard. And I think we get something like this. I think that's all good. I'm still going to start straightening it out without the head on. Just so that this way I understand, especially back here, where everything is really ambiguous right now. Oh no, I get the hiccups. No, seems like I'm good. Okay. Where everything is really, really ambiguous. So I'll go ahead and start straightening that. Where's her arm? Okay, goodbye, arms. We don't need you right now. We don't need arms in this neighborhood. Alright. I guess I'll need them eventually, but I like to pretend sometimes that I don't have to draw the arms. It makes me feel better. Alrighty. So looks like I got a little bit of residue there, and now it's time to connect the two halves. So I think that this has a slightly narrower angle as it's coming off the shoulders, and then it goes into a pretty steep one until it connects down here. And then it kind of becomes straight at the bottom there. Just flat at the bottom. Kind of feeling out where I feel like the bottom part starts. So, you know, actually, before I even define that, I want to fix things up over here. So I just have my line tool set to erase for me. And here I actually do think we go straight down into the flat part. And then I want to keep the angle of her shoulders in mind, so it's kind of like this. So that actually tells me I probably want to add color, because I want it to be a little bit lower on that side. There we go. Then I just fill it in, and then, you know, we make the angles nice and sharp. Make those corners. We're able to draw blood, all that good stuff. Exactly what I need here. Okay. Now I feel like I can put her head back on. And her arms, for that matter. We will let the arms come back. So I think that's about what I want there, but before I really dig into it and finish off the shadows and stuff, I think what I need to do is do the arms. I don't think I want to do the arms today. I do not think I'm quite feeling up for that. Let's see, I think I've got a little bit too much showing here. So I'm gonna just slowly pull it back a little. There we go. Let's see, is there anything else I kind of want to get started? You know what, sure, let's get the bat straight. Because right now, it's a very much kind of a curved line. I'm thinking about how I want to tackle that. I think I'm just gonna do it with the line tool. So I'm going to ignore spikes for now. The only goal for the time being, let's get rid of that hand. And I guess the arm as well. Is to make from here to here a straight line. Because yeah, there's no curves in this bat. It is not dented, it is just spiky with a little heart. So I will, I guess, start from up here, and we will erase all the way down to the end here. Let's see, I'm thinking about how I want to angle this. Because some of this I think needs to be eraser, and other part needs to be paint. So I'll erase her over there. Let's get rid of some of this residue. I've been kind of intimidated by this bat for a while. Just because it's long and scary, and having to draw long straight lines is terrifying. It's okay, you know, I'm breaking it down a little. I got this. Okay, and then the bottom, once again, I do not really care about getting rid of a bunch of my details. That's fine. They needed to exist so that this way I would know what to draw later, but now they no longer do. Now they're kind of in the way, and they're probably all in the wrong spot anyway. So I'm going to be getting rid of all the spikes, and I just want to focus on what the handle itself looks like. So it's, you know, just round. Standard fare. I'm trying to think about the angle that she's holding it at. I don't actually think that is quite right. So I'm going to rotate it a little. I think it's the angle she's holding it at is a little bit more like that. And then I want to look at the actual shape of the bat here because it's not straight all the way through. Like this part is thinner. So this is a fairly consistent width all the way through. And then it starts, it gets to this bit and then it starts getting big. So let's start representing that. Where's my cursor? There you are. Why do I keep losing my cursor today? Eyes are such a funny thing. So I'm thinking about the length of it. It's actually quite long, the handle is. And there's no weird perspective here. It is sitting straight on her shoulder. No, I think that angle is quite bad. Okay, but I do have the right idea. I do have it about the right length. No, I don't think that's sitting on her shoulder quite right. Let me really look at this. So this is kind of where I've defined the red part. Does that feel accurate? Not quite. Let's see. I think I'm going to scooch her over a little. I guess I need her hands for that since her hand is technically the edge. At least I think it is. Yeah. So I'm going to scooch her over just a little bit here to give myself a little bit more space for the handle of the baseball bat here. Because this does not currently feel very straight to me. I think I'm going to give myself a little helper. Just a nice, thick, hot pink line. Alright, where's my bat? It's hiding. Okay. So let's get a nice, big ol' hot pink line sitting on the shoulder, the way I think it should. Maybe not that big. That big's good. So I see her shoulder here. I can rotate the line if I don't get it quite right. Okay, and I want her hand back. This way it feels like it's inside the hand. And I want her head back to make sure it doesn't go through it. That's important. I don't want the bat to be phasing through her head. That seems dangerous. Right about there. I think that is a good angle. And now I will base the rest of the bat around that. Okay. So first things first, I'm going to align the bit that I'm using for the handle. I think it's a bit too thin currently, but it's a start. And I want to align it so it's perpendicular with my guideline. And I'm not worried about this going off screen right now. A lot of that's going to be changing. I might need to change some positioning, and that's all fine. I get the feeling I'm going to be doing stuff with their feet later, so I feel like I've got some room to work with. Okay. So now that I have that, let's try to get this the thickness I think it should be. I'm going to go look at it one more time. I don't really want to be scrolling back and forth so much, so I'm just going to pull up a reference on the internet. Take a look at that. Okay. Okay, so I think a little thicker than that. Yeah, right about here. I think this is gonna be good. Once again, I kind of want it to be perpendicular to my pink line. And I'll add the spikes and stuff later. It's somewhere around there. And now... Actually, I think this should be a little shorter. I think I made it just a little bit too big. No, I want to use my line tool for that. I don't want to be using the brush for that. I want to use my mouse. It keeps the line the same width all the way across. And here, it's just I don't think I have the top angled quite right, so I'm just gonna kill a little bit of what I've got going there, and that's fine. I can fill it in later. I can fill it in right now, in fact. I may not really be able to see what I'm doing with that pink line on top, but that's fine. Actually, I probably should reduce the opacity of that, now that I think about it. It's still fine. Okay. So now, let's get that handle. Do I feel like I have this in the right spot? I do, but I think I need it to be just a touch longer, so I'm actually going to move this part down. Basically, it's correct relative to this way, but I felt like it was a little bit too short this way. So, that tells me I just need to make that part of the handle just a little bit longer. Stop being an eraser. There we go. Okay. So now I want the width from here to be the same. Going all the way up. Gotta make my brush just a little bit smaller here, because I am scared. And it needs to be just perpendicular with my straight hot pink line. I'm not going to worry about the red part yet. Not at all. Okay, that's totally wrong, but that's fine. I'll fix it. Just gonna keep trying until I feel like it is looking good. Oh no, it's not perpendicular to the side, it's parallel. Did I say that? I don't know. Okay, so there we go. And now I can start getting the shape on this part of the bat looking good. Once again, I want this to be kinda perpendicular. This time actually perpendicular to this line here. And then I just connect it. That's how I make round things be straight lines. Works out. Okay, here I think I want to start using my brush a little bit. Not even for practice, but just because I feel like it's faster. And then once I am a little bit more confident in where things are placed, I will go ahead and make them straight. They don't have to be perfect right away. You just gotta get them in there first. Let's see, I feel like those angles are a little bit too sharp, so I'm gonna just smooth them out just a little here. All I'm gonna do is extend this line a little further and then connect it up there. There we go. I think that's already a lot better. I don't think it's quite there yet, but I do think it is a lot better. Okay, let's hide the pink line and see how things are going. Yeah, that actually already feels way more solid in her hand. It actually feels like a singular thing. Just kind of adjusting the angle slightly here. And I don't mind the edge here going like right up to the end here. It's fine. This is going to be a transparent image, so it's not going to feel weird. Normally, when you have something rubbing up against the edge like that, it'll feel really bad. But in transparent images, I think it's fine. Okay, and I think I can work with this. I think this will be a great base for next time. So I think the big goals for next time are going to be this arm, hand, and the bat. And I think that's already going to be pretty tough. Trying to get all that in, because freaking arms, man, the worst. But I'll do my best. So hopefully I can get through all of that, and then we can worry about, you know, figuring out her chest and stuff. And this arm too, and all those things. And I can hopefully prep myself for being able to figure out why I hate the legs so much. Not quite sure yet. So I'm hoping that having everything a little bit more solid everywhere else, since everything is still a little kind of nebulous at the moment, will make what I should do with the legs more clear to me. So that's the hope there. And you know, if it's not, I'll just draw something and cry. It'll be fantastic. So I'm not honestly not the least bit worried. So yeah, I suppose this is where I will stop for today. So thank you all for coming, and I hope you're able to make something wonderful today. It feels a little bit sad to not be able to say I'll see you all tomorrow, because I'm not going to be streaming until Friday. I'm still a little bit sad about it, but it's okay. Gonna be doing a lot more interesting things after I kind of come down from the initial stress and stop forcing myself to do silly meme images. My brain is wild sometimes. But it's okay. It's coming. I'm already feeling like I can actually think about stuff. And I don't just have to tread water and start thinking about what I'm going to do literally tomorrow. Or often, you know, in 20 minutes, because I can't think about what I was going to do tomorrow. It's bittersweet. But nonetheless, I will see you all Friday. Go do something cool. It'll be great.